Hi everybody, thanks for clicking on this week. I'm here at the Mind Body Festival and we're talking alternative healing. Thanks for watching all my blogs along the way. Now, a lot of information out there gets lost. It's out there and then it sort of disappears. And I'm talking here with She de Montfort and we're just talking about turmeric basically, and you know some information of, turmeric is always known for healing and its healing properties.
And it's good for cooking too.
Absolutely great for cooking. Makes everything yellow, including your teeth. So let's share some knowledge that you found out, discovered. When did you discover about turmeric and the aspects of healing for different diseases and things?
All right, well, I've actually received training as a Surya healer, which is like very similar to Ayurveda, but it was the science that existed before Ayurveda. It was more about teas and supplements than Ayurveda is about treating the different body types. Now, basically the idea behind turmeric, and I've been trying to get this message out there for 20 years and they're starting to get it. It's a food, right? And these are, of course, anecdotal things. I'm in no way recommending things, but I will tell you all about what has worked for myself and other people. All right, and the turmeric, it's one of the 5 sacred Ayurvedic herbs. It works as an antiviral. It actually produces a substance called curcuminoid, which gets into the protoplasm between the cells, and that neutralizes the enzyme cap on most viruses, well, all viruses that we know of at this stage, and will not allow them to move into any new cells within the body.
Because that's the whole thing. A virus attaches itself to a living thing and then spreads to the other living things, because it can't survive unless it's attaching to a living protein and things like that as well.
A lot of people get confused between bacteria and viruses, right? A bacteria is a germ that will live in your body, like we're a direct host for it, so it's very parasitical, and that's why you get sinus infections, because the bacteria builds up in the sinuses. But a virus actually lives inside the cell itself. And the cell is like a little walled city. It's got its own guards. It's got some things around the outside called mitochondria. And the mitochondria won't let anything in unless it has a pass to get in. Right? And the viruses have developed this little thing, this enzyme cap, which is like a pass. So they sneak in past the guards and then they start to breed inside the cell itself. And they're a very bad guest, because they actually destroy the city that they're in. They destroy that cell. So to multiply, they actually have to build up so much that they explode that cell, and then the baby viruses go out looking for other cells to inhabit. Eventually a virus, in many cases, will kill its host. So it's amazing that any virus can actually survive, and it's only because they are communicable that they do.
I find that really strange, because a virus is going to kill its host, and then how does it survive, sort of thing. But so then you were talking about a study or things that were done in Africa for people over there.
Well, the way that they found out about turmeric in the modern sense for viruses, it's always been known in the traditional Ayurvedic sciences, but modern science started to catch up in the 1980s during the AIDS scare, right? And they were doing all sorts of studies on people who had HIV and it had developed into AIDS. And of course, one of those were the African prostitutes, because it did for a time go out of control in Africa. And they found that these prostitutes in Ghana, they were studying them. They went back 3 months later, because the virus life cycle of HIV is 3 months. And they found that they were clear, completely clear of the virus, and that's not supposed to happen. So they wondered how this could possibly be. So they looked at all sorts of factors. Was it in the air? Was it in the soil? Was it genetic? Was it this, that, and the other? And finally they scratched their heads and went, could it be something that they're eating? And so they had a look at their diet, and the diet in Ghana is more Indian than African. Africa is generally very chilly and bland. And they eventually studied the turmeric and rediscovered this substance called curcuminoid, and what it actually does, and how it is a viral blocker. It actually stops it going into the new cells.
What is the process? What were they doing? Just eating a certain amount over a period of time, or?
Well, I have had quite a bit to do with people who have treated themselves with the turmeric, and what they find works for them is if they supersaturate their system with the turmeric. Yep. And quite serious viruses they've had as well. We've had people with HIV, we've had people that I knew that have had Hep C, that have had chronic fatigue syndrome. All these sorts of things seem to respond incredibly well. And it really does, it deserves to have more scientific study rather than just be squashed. So
I worry about that though sometimes because scientific, it can be manipulated as well. What are we counting and how it's counted has got to be privatised really, realistically anyway. But
well, I think there's a big difference, and a line should be drawn between scientific study and drug testing.
Yeah.
It's two completely different things, and I think that's where a lot of people get confused. There are a lot of information comes out about drugs that have been tested by drug companies for drug testing, and the amount of damage that can be done by biased drug tests, and we've seen the results of that. We've had thalidomide, we've had numerous ones. ATZ. Originally, ATZ was a cancer drug, and it killed people. So and they were biased drug tests. So it's not about biased drug tests we're talking about. We're talking about proper scientific testing, independent, something that can be confirmed by universities in several different places without funding from drug companies or without surreptitious funding from drug companies.
so what would the dosage be? I mean, you're saying supersaturate. Can you oversaturate your body? Can it be to a point that it's harmful?
Well, look, if you threw yourself into a vat full of turmeric, you would suffocate. So, anything can be harmful if you overdo it. But supersaturation seems to be putting it in your food, in your meals until, basically when you check, your poo has gone yellow, and they're just going to have to do that for themselves because I'm not going to check for them.
And there's a period of time for the body for it to circulate anyway. I think it's 30 days for your body to do a full cycle anyway, for cells to regenerate and so forth.
Well, I think it more depends on the life cycle of the virus, really. So life cycle of the virus, you can have a 12, 24, 48, but most of the nasties are 3 months. So if you're going to do that, you want to follow the life cycle, saturate it for 3 months, and this is what other people have found has worked for them, and then what they've done is done it for a further 3 months just to be sure, and then they've gone on a maintenance dose where they have a little bit of turmeric for the rest of their lives.
And this has never been out there. The information has just disappeared magically.
It's there.
Yeah.
It is
hard to find.
It's a subculture thing. For 20 years, I've been associated with people that have been self-testing with their turmeric and very positively, with incredible results. And it just needs, I've often said, I consider myself the grandmother, out there trying to pass on these traditional remedies that, my grandmother used to tell me to gargle my sore throat with salty water, right, or peroxide.
I think we've forgotten that basic information that's been there. So could you, for instance, with the turmeric, could you do capsules, or does it need to actually stay in the throat for the information in your glands and everything to receive that, or?
No. It seems to be needed systematically. So it needs to go into your system. Look, and I see some people out there selling turmeric capsules for $38 a bottle and things like that, and I don't think that's ethical either. No. Turmeric can go down the supermarket and buy it for 70 cents, but sometimes the best turmeric is the fresh turmeric where it's raw. It looks like ginger. It's in the ginger family, and it's quite tasty. It tastes a little bit like carrots when it's fresh.
I put it in my mash last night, actually.
Yeah, like it?
Got very orange, but it does look like carrots. Turmeric doesn't have a strong flavour anyway, and there are a lot of my viewers who do turmeric pulling, for instance. That would probably have a similar effect as well for teeth whitening and other things they do it for.
Yeah. One thing that's become popular, and you can see a lot of video clips on YouTube about now, is the skin whitening properties of turmeric, which you wouldn't think, because you put it on your skin, it goes yellow. But people with long-term red marks or Cooperos, they're putting masks on with turmeric. They're using a carrier base of either milk or aloe, and they're giving themselves little facelifts.
You're going to have a bunch of people out there now trying this for whatever virus or health reasons there is.
Yeah, no, but in my experience with the people I have come across, they work. And I do the turmeric facial myself, and I'm not yellow.
No, that's it. It does wash off.
Yeah, it does.
I've used just recently, I just did a experiment with using apple cider vinegar to remove a mole, 10 days, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Went double the size, and I freaked out, but now it's disappeared.
All right, another grandmother remedy for moles is the banana cure. Oh, yes. You heard the banana cure?
And warts as well.
Yeah, yeah, and you cut it up and you put a fresh piece of banana peel on every 3 days. And 9 days later, gone.